How's it going, everyone? VenomousStare. And if you like StarCraft 2, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, because this series, which we're at Game 2 of out of a best of 7, is bananas. And Game 3 and Game 4 are coming in the subsequent days, so go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss it. We see Polt, our red Terran in the top left of Daeson Station, is facing off against True. Now this is in the finals of DreamHack Montreal. They've already played Game 1. It was a long macro game on that Apotheosis map. True won. In the end, it came down to somewhat of a base trade after Polt messed up his early push. Now, to talk about both of these players' career, Polt, of course, has significantly more wins overall. He's a player who has won a GSL Super Tournament. He's won WCS America. He's won other lands, and he's won over $400,000 total. He's from Korea. He currently lives in Texas. He attends the university, or he did live in Texas. He attended the University of Texas in Austin. And he is one of the Korean players who speaks a lot of English. So, in my opinion, those players have very interesting streams because they can communicate what they're doing. And even if a player is really good, I think that you can only really get so much out of a stream that's not in the language that you speak. So Polt, when he does stream, is a great one to watch. As we see, he takes a CC at his natural after he makes a Reaper. Reaper expand from Polt, totally normal stuff. Meanwhile, we see that True has taken this gold base. True is a player who favors macro styles, safe play with lots of drones, lots of queens, delayed gases, lots of expansions, and he's a player who anticipates a lot of abusive things that Terran does. He's a player who kind of is always prepared for what tricky thing his opponent was going to throw at him. And we see True tried to work on these rocks initially, but Polt pressured with this Reaper. One thing worth noting about Daeson Station is if you elect to take this gold natural, the rush distance is very short, especially if both players elect to expand here first and then make some tech out here, or in Zerg's case just make units because of where the hatchery is. And it's just absurd. The rush distance really gets absurdly close. And it makes for a very quick game sometimes. If both players fast expand to the gold, honestly it can become kind of like a Steps of War game. Like one player can just mass a quick little army, maybe pull a few SCVs, do a scan and then a hard contain at the front door with some bunkers. However, there is this backdoor expansion which oddly enough has a ramp by it and destructible rocks by it. Now these rocks and this backdoor mirror each other. They go around past a couple bases behind the mineral line of the gold and end up at the other person's rocks. So this is a very bizarre map. As you see, not really much going on. The Reaper can't actually do damage against two queens and lings. Maybe a ling, not even a ling. And True is trying to clear these rocks, because if you don't clear these rocks, Terran can easily siege this gold. They can attack here and then pick up and drop into your main, set up back here with tanks and bunkers. It's very irritating. So True intelligently started to work on this immediately. He made a few initial lings for the Reaper, and he made a few initial lings to start to destroy those rocks. A lesser player would not have had the foresight to start working on these rocks as soon as they did. In a Terran equivalent somewhat, we see Polt has already walled in his back door that's not rocked with an eBay and some depots. He's also started double medevac production, and he has two barracks, one researching STEM, the other producing reactored marines. This is a very popular build. Basically the entire point of it is you get a fast second barracks, a fast starport, a reactor on your factory. You do the classic swapperoo, pump out two medevacs, you load them up full. Right when STEM finishes, you hit your Zerg opponent right in the suck hole, preferably where they don't even see it coming, and deal tremendous damage. Polt is also getting +1 with it, which is interesting. Polt starting to drop in the fog of war here. This was not creeped. True, despite having lots of queens, didn't have this creep, but he has so many queens. 5 queens, he had banelings already making, and they were in position to deflect that. So Polt's drop utterly fails because of the defensive nature of True's play. And even though he didn't have this one little corner Polt dropped on, Polt found the little corner of Fog of War, but Polt had it snuffed out. He was ready for it. One thing I want to point out here is that Combat Shields was just started. This means that Polt will have a hard time dealing with banelings if it comes to straight up engagements, but it won't. He has Medivacs. He'll probably just lift away when anything bad happens. Polt really needs to work on clearing out creep because his Medivacs are going to be in trouble if he doesn't start to eliminate this creep spread on this short rush distance. Polt trying to stem and snipe one of the queens. He snipes a tumor, which is nice. It's very hard to pick off queens because of transfuse. Even if you have a lot of DPS and focus fire, your Zerg opponent can just spam that transfuse ability very well. True is making some banes on this back door of Polt. My prediction is he's going to blow down this wall, try to supply block Polt, and then run in. Polt is ready for it. He has a tank, and Jim Raynor is stimming. So nice defense from Polt there. Both players are showcasing very good defense. As True loses a couple queens. I pretty much always do this in my ladder games as Zerg. Lose my creep queens. And it's a tough thing to do because your creep queens are kind of always exposed. That's the nature of a creep queen. She's always on the outskirts of the creep trying to further the Zerg cause. And oh, a transfuse on the Bane, that made me so happy. As True saw how low health that Baneling was, predicted Polt would go for it, and spent the 50 energy to save its life. What a great guy. It's like the opposite of Ulysses S. Grant. Polt is taking great advantage of this short rush distance and all these choke points. He's using Tankovacs to leap forward and pretty much choke out True with impunity. We see True has a huge counter swell about to hit Polt, but he does not have Bane speed. He made the classic Zerg error of forgetting Bane speed, or maybe he doesn't even have a lair. Okay, he doesn't even have a lair. So he delayed his lair very long. This is one of the issues with delaying layers. You can't get Baneling speed. So if your opponent techs up to units like tanks, these Ling heavy styles sometimes don't work. Polt really taking advantage of the short rush distance. He has 1-0, so True doesn't really have that crushing upgrade advantage that these mass Lings players really look to have when they take engagements. Lots of skill Banes! Slow Banelings are a joke though. Zerg players know that. And that is not good for True as he has to GG. So Game 3 will be out tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe for more. As we see, Polt took a quick win utilizing the short rush distance of Daesan Station. The game is currently tied 1-1, the series rather.